What's up, guys? Show for Gamers, episode 48. I'm Jay, and that's Al. We got a review of the puzzle survival horror game Saw 2 Flesh and Blood. In this one, you play as Detective Tap's son, and you gotta save a bunch of people and save yourself from the infamous Jigsaw. Basically, in this one, I think they realized that fighting mindless retards with weapons wasn't that fun, and the real joy of the original Saw game was the puzzles. So they took the fighting to the point where it's not a puzzle; it's just a time active event, and it doesn't happen a lot. Um, Other times you're in a room where you really can't physically defeat the guy, but by using puzzles or gadgets, you can end up kicking the guy's butt. So they've turned a lot of the fights into puzzles, basically. There's puzzles for almost everything: saving people, finding combinations for doors, finding hidden stuff, searching through the world. There are puzzle pieces, case files, audio tapes, and the little Billy dolls. Now, the little Billy dolls, those are my favorite to find because one, just to find them is kind of hard. They're always off the beaten path. And then once you find them, there's usually some really like messed up puzzle you have to solve. One of my favorite ones is there's a chessboard in the room, and they're all pawns, and all the pawns have like numbers on them. So you need to find the combination. But then there's three TVs, and they're flashing other chess pieces, but it's flashing onto the screen in weird ways. And there's a Morse code, like little key on the wall. So you have to decipher the Morse code, find what pawn could possibly be that piece, and find its moving space to that letter. That way you can find the number. Like it's this big long process just to find three numbers to open this door. It's obviously really violent and bloody, as I've probably already showed you on the screen. Um, I'm gonna leave it up to Al to talk about the problems, but basically the beginning of the game, I didn't really understand this, but the beginning of the game, your choice at the end of the beginning of the game ties in with the end of the game, and it's not one of these whole, oh, I'm gonna save my game. Don't worry, I'm just gonna save it and I'm gonna reload it and get the other ending. You can't do that. You need to play through the entire game twice to like get maximum achievement abilities.
Yeah.
Now Al had pretty much the same problems I had with the game, so he can
Yeah,
take it away.
I don't know. One of our main complaints was just some of the save points were spread out a little bit, but I don't know, they weren't so as bad as I thought because at least give you some checkpoints too.
But even
in between,
yeah,
but sometimes they spread all that out too far.
yeah, the checkpoints are a little.
Like I had a part where I kept messing up on a few things, and it's all time active stuff. So if you miss one of them and stuff, sometimes you get your head blown off and stuff like that. You got to restart. So there's an area I had to do the same thing like 4 or 5 times in a row because I kept dying. And then I get farther, and then I die in the next thing, but it shoot me back all the way to the thing like that. So sometimes that's a problem. Um, I don't know. The graphics are close to the same as the old one, right?
Yeah, it uses the Unreal. It uses the Unreal Engine, so it's pretty decent.
But I mean, they're still good. Yeah.
Namely, my biggest complaint is I don't mind when puzzles are timed. I think that's some of the fun of the Saw games. But namely, when you have to save some of the main characters, they do not explain to you what's like. They explain to you the consequences. Hey, if you screw up, this woman's gonna get cut in half via an elevator.
Yeah.
But they don't explain well enough what you're supposed to do. Specifically, there's one where this guy's about to get his arms and head and all this stuff crushed in these vices, and as I'm sitting here trying to turn these colored wheels and figure out what I'm supposed to do, the character goes, "Hurry up! I don't really know what to do. It has something to do with colors." Thank you, Captain Stubing. I know that. I can tell.
There's colors.
There's
here.
red and white. I get that. But what am I supposed to do with them? And because of that, you end up failing a lot. So
yeah, you'll die 3 or 4 times, or they'll get killed, and you have to start over. And you're like, okay, I still don't know what I'm doing. So
I feel like if you get frustrated a lot with puzzles and stuff, you're not gonna like this game. Also, the puzzles vary from, oh, I'm just gonna look through this hole, there's a number, I got it, to using flashlights to find hidden paint, to lining up paint streaks, but having to be in different rooms to do it. So it gets pretty complicated. So you gotta really like the puzzle stuff.
Yeah.
But there's enough survival horror where you're like, oh, what's around this corner? I don't know, type of thing. In general, it's decent. It's about 8 hours long, but at least two or three playthroughs you can get. If you're a fan of the Saw series, you're gonna like it. Is pretty much the gist of the story.
Right.
We give a 5 out of 10 because there's enough wrong with it, gameplay wise. Namely, I had a puzzle where I was supposed to balance across the beam, and my guy would start out not on the beam; he was floating,
Yeah.
and that screwed everything up. So
Well, and there's little things like that. Like there's balance parts where it's like you're balancing on it and you fall, and it's only one. You're on like the second floor, and you fall to the first floor,
And that somehow
it kills
kills you.
You're like, okay, and then you're a little farther in the game, and he busts a hole through the floor, and you jump into the basement, but you jump into the basement. You're like,
you're
that's
fine.
the same amount of space. How is he good now? You know?
Yeah. Don't worry about it. You're fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like
That's just like little design stuff. That's kind
Yeah.
of it's kind of like really, I don't know, annoying.
if all goes well, we'll be reviewing Dead Space 2 next week, and Little Piece of Paper. It's gonna be that episode 49. That means we'd be one away from the season finale and the reveal of Hired Guns number 6. So, hope you guys are excited. I know I am. Peace.